Hello once again. I hope you're all doing alright. My name is Konstantinos Petrocheilos, or Kostas for short. I am a comic book and fantasy artist. I have received commissions in the past, through DMs from different countries, and I'm still open to them. So if you would like me to do any artwork with a comic book character of your choice, or even yourself as your favorite character, I will gladly serve you. Uh, at the same time, I am the creator of the upcoming superhero science fiction story with horror elements in it, Stilk and Metal Tim. And it's going to be published from a Los Angeles indie publisher called Rising Sun Comics. The first book is going to come out on November 14th, 2018. And I wanted to tell you a few things about this book and about the series in general. This is, by the way, a page of the fourth book I'm working now. Alright. So let me tell you a few things about this book. So you see, this book is this story is a dream. It started all from a dream, literally a dream that I had when I was 16, 17 years old. I have talked about this dream in my last two interviews, one with John Malin, the other with Jimmy Ortiz. I'll give the links to these interviews down in the description if you're interested to watch them. But that's not the kind of dream I want to talk about. Talking about the aspiration that I had to say my own stories. You see, most people think that when you say that you are, or that you want to be a comic book creator, they mostly think of the American market, and they most likely, if they know something about this industry, they will think that you want to work for the big publishers, which is natural. It's expected. I mean, the big publishers have the most known properties, and in theory they pay well. Well, at least one of them currently. But there are so many things taking place there on so many levels that if you ask someone currently, especially if he or she has some idea of what's going on in the comic book industry these days, they're most likely gonna say no. I prefer to do it, independently, either through some indie publisher or maybe through a campaign, But if you would ask me, even before the so-called ComicsGate situation, I would tell you no. I want to say my own stories because I have things to share. I have stories to tell. And I love the freedom of it. And I love also the fact, and I strongly support it, that I have the rights to my creations, to my visions, to my brain children. And this is my brainchild, right here. And I draw since a young age. I started drawing since I was 3, and later, as a teenager, I learned to appreciate writing and reading even more. So when I started showing to my teachers that my writing skills have improved, that also showed me on a personal level that I could put into words, narration wise as well, the stories that I had in mind and not only illustrate them. Because by having improved my writing skills and my thought on the whole thing, you know, also when I was reading something, either a book or a comic book, I could see all the narration keys and methods that each writer would use. And so I reached a point where I felt that I was ready enough, at least, if not completely, if anyone can ever say that for him or herself. I suppose there is always some things to learn. So I reached a point where I felt that I could do this for my stories. I just had so many characters in my mind, I didn't know from where to start. Well, if you listen to my previous interviews, at some point I ended up, going with this story, with this one here. And I don't regret it at all. And this story, as I have mentioned before, is going to be a bi-monthly edition. It is going to be 12 issues. Each issue is going to feature 28 pages of story, plus 4 more pages, if I remember well. That will, no, 6 more pages. I'm sorry, 6 more pages for advertisements. But I will come to this later. What I would like to tell you about the first book is that I started doing the artwork and the lettering in it, not by hand. I'm not that kind of a letterer, you know. I just use a program to do this. But when I started it, I was in my third year in the university, in the School of Fine Arts, back in Greece, and I had so much passion and love, and this hasn't changed. You know, some basic things and principles haven't changed. What has changed, though, is is the artwork. And those of you who pay attention to the details, they will see that. The first book's artwork was done in the period 2014-2015. I was able to complete it within a year. It took me long because, you know, I had to study, and give exams, and make drawings for the school, you know, for university. And later, around 2015, I started doing the first few pages of the second book. I think till page 6 or 7 of the second book, I have 2015, 2016 artwork. So basically, the first book and the first few 5-6 pages of the second book feature old art. Now, you may ask, why should I give a chance to a book that maybe doesn't even have any Photoshop coloring in it? You know? Well, you can, I'll try to mention some reasons about that. I'm just starting doing this. Alright? You shouldn't, and I wouldn't expect, especially from an indie publisher, to see something necessarily extremely perfect or professional, especially when it comes to a beginner, you know. Beginner meaning that I have officially started this journey in this industry through an actual publisher, not independently, not through a campaign. Not that there is anything wrong with that. On the contrary, this is even more bold movement because you take literally everything, including printing and distribution, on your shoulders. But you get actually picked and hired from a publisher who sees things and potential and passion and some quality in your story and art, and to have similar responses from a bunch of strangers on the net, and of course people who know you and still like what you do. I don't know if they count that much, but I would say that they do, for me at least. Well, that shows to me that this book has indeed the potential to become a really great series, you know, and I know how the story goes, I know how it ends. The point is, will the people let me, will they give me enough support in order for this book to not get cancelled at some point in the midway, and instead let the story flow and end in its respected issue number 12, where I saw what happens to the world of these characters, to the characters themselves, their depth, their drama, their challenges, how they support each other, how they cooperate with each other to deal with this threat, and actually what are their secrets, or you know, are in store to be unfolded, you know, to be unveiled as the story progresses. What I mean is, I have many things to share with you. You will certainly notice, regardless the you know, the imperfections you will see on the first book, just remember that I didn't know things that I do now. I didn't know things back then that were essential for things like the final printed product, or maybe my anatomy was a little off. I have seen that my anatomy is a little better now. You will certainly see a passion, though. You will certainly see influences, maybe from Image Comics or some DC material. Well, this is the first page of this first book. You may see some flaws already, okay? And you'll probably see them better if you give a chance to this project and hold an actual print copy in your hands, or even the ebook version, you know? But maybe you can also see, you know, things like the composition, the inventive and passionate mood where all the cityscape right here was built. Even it was 4 years ago, I remember it like it was yesterday. It all started from this and went to this. There is lots of, you know, there is these characters here, they have their flaws. They need support, but they don't know from whom or how they can get it. And yet they are forced to go on, some of them without even knowing why, in order, you know, to see where all this will lead, in hope that they will get the answers that they so much long for. It is a quest, it is an adventure, but it is certainly also a journey that can be proven to be deadly. Who knows? If you let this story continue, if you support enough the first 2 books, this story will continue, and it will not get interrupted in the middle. Through pain, as we can see, our character here can come great or even far more worse things. Things like knowledge or things like certain catastrophe. Is this a force of good, or is it something far more worse than what initially looks like a threat? Maybe it's worse than this threat itself. Who knows? Just tune in and you shall see. As I have shown before, this is one of the pages of the 4th book I'm working on currently. The artwork gets better, alright, after all this time. The story gets even more interesting and full of surprises and twists as it progresses. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. You will not feel like, you know, the story is a predictable, typical one. No, you cannot even guess what's going to happen. I'm telling you. And I'm telling you, I'm reminding you again that this story, you know, I love the character development as a thing in a story. I love watching it. That's why I liked stories of the old stories of Marvel. They don't have this now, unfortunately. With Daredevil or X-Men, the challenges they have to somehow convince themselves, to do something to come out from them and keep themselves, on the walk of life, even when their life was getting hard enough, or when they would lose a loved one. They would have to see, how they can find a light at the end of the tunnel, and into all this darkness that had consumed them. Well, similar situations regarding character development, you're gonna see in this story here. You're gonna see these characters' thoughts, these characters' feelings, background, how they currently deal not only with themselves, but with a situation that can get easily out of hand at any time. And they still have to do something about it, even if they deal at the same time with their own problems. It all started from somewhere, from someone who was curious enough, but also knew things that our protagonists don't. But maybe as the story progresses, they will come to find more answers, or maybe more questions. Who knows? Well, you will, if you decide to stay with me in this journey and see the end, or what will seem like an end of this story. But I'm telling you, you can be sure that this story is just only the beginning. Concepts like friendship are gonna be visible to this story, but also moments of anger and rage are not gonna be away. There's gonna be lots of inner conflict. Yeah, because these characters, especially this one here, Stilk, these characters are tortured, yet maybe they're stronger than they think. Not to keep only their own sanity, but also they're strong enough to discover and handle the power, the huge amounts of power held within them. And with their courage and unity, they may end up being the actual and only solution that some thought that they could be against this threat. This threat of monstrosities that are known in the story as the nightmares. But is this the only threat? Well, is this really that simple? Just two dudes fighting monsters? Is this that simple? Is it really only about that? Well, we will have to see. If you stick with me and you follow the story and you support it, you will find out. You will have answers to these questions. Trust is a really important thing, but really difficult to show, especially when you don't know what to think, when you're not sure about something. But it's needed sometimes, maybe most of the times, in order to reveal the next level, the next phase of our life. So if you support this project, if you trust me, I'm telling you, except from the fact that you will be witnesses of of what takes place behind the scenes in order for this project to come into fruition, you will see how what seems initially as a simple and potentially entertaining story can have far more branches and extensions that can make things even more exciting and pave the way for even more worlds and stories to follow. And I'm telling you that they will follow. But nothing can happen in the end, and no creator can have the chance to shine, so to speak, and share his creations with you if the people do not give him this chance. This publisher gave me this chance. And some people have expressed their will to do so. But what about you? One last thing. Yesterday, I made this announcement. It is on Facebook and Twitter. This is an announcement that my publisher basically gave me the green light to make. It is about the advertisements that will be included not only in this first book, but also in the next 11 books. So this offer here goes for the next 11 books too. I sent it out to all the ComicsGate creators that I could find. I don't think I missed anybody, but if I did, I hope you listen to this video that you will see this announcement that I made. That I'm making again now through this video. I have the right to 3 ads within the book. The other 3, it's the companies. These 3 that I have the right to advertise whatever I want in them. One of them I will keep to myself to advertise my social media. The other 2 I offer to whoever of the ComicsGate community would like to advertise his project, either if it's a finished book or a campaign, in exchange for a small fee. It's affordable, trust me. And if you want to learn more or you have questions, do not hesitate and send me a direct message, through Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram Messenger, or even email. I give all the links to my social media or how to come in contact with me down on the description, like it happens with each one of my videos. And even if you consider yourself to not get, even if you are not involved with ComicsGate yet, and because you don't know what it is about, but you are an aspiring creator, or you have a finished project, this is your chance. In this first book, and if circumstances allow it, in the next 11 books, the ComicsGate creator community, or the indie publishers, any of those groups who would like to get advertised for a really small fee in exchange, and truth be told, some promotion or shout out of this book would be also helpful, well, this is your chance. If you are of the ComicsGate community and you're not a creator, it will really help to spread the word for the book, but also for this announcement. And my deadline is, let's just say, is till the 21st of this month. So if you decide to go along with this, you send a fee that I will tell you on my PayPal, and you send me on my mail your advertisement in order for me to hand it over to the publisher. Now, if no one responds to this offer, it's alright, I will just use the other 2 ads to myself. But I want to let you know that this is a chance. A space of 2 advertisements for your projects. So far I have gotten some likes, retweets, and one actual person, and a person that is actually, has actually expressed his interest, but he's not sure yet. He will let me know, he said. In the meantime, why don't you consider this? So, spread the word if you would like. So, that's the things I had to share with you in this video. If I can make another video this week, I will. And be sure that even if I have very little time with all these things that I have to work with, because I do everything myself, and I don't mind, but practically it leaves little time for some other things. I will try to make material, to produce material in the form of videos or announcements or drawings and updates through all my social media. So stay tuned for more. And I hope you will, join me, join me in this journey as someone who's just started um, his official journey in this field, the comic book industry. So that's the things I had to share with you for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up or share it if you want to spread the word, or if you like this channel, you want to support it, subscribe or hit the bell icon for notifications. Feel free as well to watch my previous videos or leave a comment. And I'll see you next time. Wishing you a good night or day wherever you are. Wish you well. Bye.